Marie, you wrote a fascinating paper some years ago under the Digital Cuisine banner about 3 aspects to it. Have they changed since you wrote that?
It's funny you ask that because I wanted to talk about these 3. That's my secret. I've got 3 words that can guarantee you success in social media. And I wrote that kind of article, I think it was 2 years ago. And I thought, I'm going to talk about it this morning, but I need to revisit and see if it's still working and if it's still really operating that way. And the good news is, yes, it is. I've actually looked at some campaigns recently and I've reapplied these 3 words, my secret, and I am going to share it with you this morning. And this secret still works. If you look around at great social media campaigns, and I'm talking about marketing campaigns here, advertising campaigns, how brands have engaged with their audience, their customers, and have been successful at really the holy grail of social media, which is creating earned media. So from a message, from a campaign, how do you generate that conversation? How do you get people to have a reason to share your brand, your message, or your product? So you can go back to Digital Cuisine and read that article, but I'm going to share these 3 words with you. They're very simple, it's very basic. Utility, value, entertainment. When you do put an idea about a social media campaign or you want to operate in that space, I'd always advise my clients, I'd advise you to look at, is what you're doing going to provide one of these aspects, utility, value, and entertainment? And if it is, then you're giving a reason to share to your audience. Whatever it is, it might be something that's really funny, something that's going to bring them value around your product, something that's going to help them achieve a task. And if they've got that, they will use it and they're more likely to be able to share it. So when I actually came up with these 3 words a few years ago, I looked at some campaigns like, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Burger King Whopper Sacrifice, which at the time was a brilliant idea. Burger King actually offered a way for people to delete their friends from Facebook in exchange of a voucher for a burger. So you'd actually kind of go, we all have friends on Facebook that you're actually not really friends with them. They're just there on Facebook. So you go, I'd actually trade that friend for a voucher for a burger. It's entertaining because it's funny. It's got utility. You're actually getting rid of all the friends you don't want to have on Facebook, and it's got value. It gives you a voucher to get a Whopper or a burger. Great. So they've really nailed these 3 aspects on the head. So I thought that was a really interesting campaign. There were some implications where you can't operate in that way specifically on Facebook anymore, but they've really understood these 3 elements of how to make a social media campaign successful. And if you look at more recent examples, I was just looking at the Oaks reverse robbery. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a campaign where Oaks, which is that milk drink, realized that they actually had got out of shelves in a lot of convenience stores and that people were asking where the product was. So they came up with this campaign, which was a reverse robbery. So instead of going into the utility stores and rob the cashier or whatever, they actually came in and robbed back by putting the product back in shelf. And I think that's also a really nice example of they're providing utility because they're bringing the product back where people want it. They're providing value because they actually went so far to stock people's fridges with their product, so that's great value there. And then from this idea, they also built branded content on that, and because it was executed in a really quirky and funny way, it got spread in the social media world. So they had over 3,000 requests for reverse robberies. They doubled the number of Facebook fans during that campaign just because they really built that around a really interesting idea. I guess the difficult aspect of that is really understand your consumer insights on what is it that you want to provide with them. And also, all these campaigns that have been successful, they've actually come up with an idea that is very unique, that is very engaging, and it's sometimes groundbreaking. So when I look at these case studies and example, one thing that actually jumps at me is that they believed in these ideas so much that they've gone out without diluting the ideas, without being fearful of going, is that going to work, is that not going to work? So it's really about understanding these 3 elements and then keeping your idea really strong and really pure, not being scared about, maybe we're pushing too far, maybe it's not going to work. You have to really put it out there and make a big bang for it to work. So yeah, this is my secret.